Hello everyone, it's NotaNoobPat, and welcome to Perk Review. Today we're taking a look at the level 30 Kate Denson perk, Dance With Me. When you quickly leave a locker or fast vault, you will leave no scratch marks for 3 seconds. This perk has a cooldown timer of 40 seconds. The pros are that this perk is an excellent support perk that works really well with quick and quiet, lithe, or head on. Then, a 40-second recover rate is pretty good. There's a chance you could even use it twice in one chase, albeit normally you can get away after the first use of this perk if you use it correctly. The cons are that it lacks true viability on its own. You really need to pair it with those perks that I mentioned prior. It adds so much more value with this perk, it really just doesn't make sense to use it on its own. Then, sometimes 3 seconds of no scratch marks is not enough to leave the line of sight of the killer. Sometimes you will use this perk and the lack of scratch marks won't really help you, because if the killer can still see you, they don't really need your scratch mark trail to try to find you. Let's get into our demonstration. On the survivor side, you can see that my fast vault activates this perk. The timer is going to rotate counterclockwise for 40 seconds until you can activate the perk again. It's more helpful to see this from the killer side though. Here, you can see that the survivor is making plenty of scratch marks. This is, of course, before she fast vaults across the pallet to activate this perk, and then there's no more scratch marks. You can also see that there is quite some distance until the scratch marks return as well. Also, it's not a coincidence that I'm using the spirit for the demonstration. This perk is most effective due to the killer's reliance on scratch marks and the phase ability. Let's take a look. You can see that Kate goes across the pallet, and then I'm unable to track her due to this perk. Now let's get into our game examples. What a coincidence. I'm facing spirit. Anyways, after I take my first hit, I'm going to run around the killer shack. Right when I round the corner, I'm going to realize that the spirit is phasing, so I'm going to decide to use this perk to prevent the spirit from tracking me. I'm going to fast vault over the wall, and I'm not going to leave any tracks. Here, you can see that this allows me to escape and gives me enough time that I can heal up a bit of distance away. In this next example, I'm going to be forced off of a generator as the killer approaches. After the hillbilly kicks the generator, he's going to follow me up the stairs. However, due to the multiple vaults up here, I'm in a good spot to use Dance With Me. When he rounds the corner, I'm going to fast vault over and sprint to a locker. Without any scratch marks in sight, I'm going to be able to evade the hillbilly by hiding in the locker. He just had no idea where I went. For our final example, I'm using Live and Dance With Me. Now it's hard to see, but I am in a very compromising position on the solo gen in Hawkins. When I see the hillbilly coming up, I'm going to fast vault to activate the perk and run around the corner without scratch marks, which doesn't tip off the hillbilly to my position. I basically just vanished into thin air. Then I'm about to go for the save after healing, but I'm accidentally going to run into the killer's line of sight. Fortunately, I know where a down pallet is at, and I'm going to use it as a vault to activate this perk. I also end up using my live to speed boost around the corner. Without the killer being able to see me in his line of sight, the killer is relying on the scratch marks to find me, but now he can't because I use this perk. I watch him run right on by, and he's clueless that I'm right behind him. So, let's give it a grade. Dance With Me earned its 5.5 out of 10. After the examples I just showed, I realized that a 5.5 may be a little harsh. However, this perk isn't really viable on its own. It does have to have one of those other perks to be regularly useful. That being said, this does really improve the other perks that many players regularly use. But, as I said, this perk really does only aid those perks. By no means do you have to use Dance With Me with Lithe or Head On for them to be effective. There are just some times where you use Lithe or Head On, and the lack of scratch marks doesn't really help you because the killer can still see you, and they don't need the scratch marks to find you. All of that being said, if you want to feel like a ninja when fast vaulting or to troll a spirit, this is the best perk for you. I did really enjoy using this perk. It's quite a bit of fun, but sometimes it's not incredibly helpful, and that has to be noted. Anyways, I did have a lot of fun, so maybe I did grade it a little low, but I still feel like a 5.5 is fair for a perk you can't use on its own. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave it a like. If you want to check out more perk review, make sure to look for the links in the description and visit my channel to subscribe. Take it easy.